Alex Carter had never taken a proper vacation before. His life was a blur of data sheets, project deadlines, and endless virtual meetings at StarTech Industries, one of the galaxy's largest corporations. For someone who loved exploring and discovering new things, his time had mostly been spent staring at holographic screens and debating algorithms. But now, standing on the glowing sands of XO9, a remote tropical planet with oceans that shimmered like liquid sapphires, Alex felt a rare kind of freedom he hadn't known for years. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden glow over the shoreline. Waves lapped gently at the beach, leaving tiny bubbles that sparkled before disappearing. Alien seashells, translucent and shaped like spirals, dotted the sand, and faint whispers of wind carried the scent of something sweet, like a mix of tropical fruit and alien flowers. The air was warm, but not uncomfortably so. It was perfect. Alex had finally escaped the endless grind of StarTech and the suffocating pressure of pleasing his boss, Dr. Elena Voss. Known throughout the galaxy for her brilliance and strictness, he smiled to himself. This is it, he thought. No emails, no deadlines, just me and the beach. Alex walked barefoot, feeling the soft sand between his toes. He had read about XO9 before, about its glowing beaches and exotic wildlife, but seeing it in person was different. The water glowed faintly under the sunlight, reflecting the planet's twin moons, even though it was still daytime. Birds, or rather, creatures that looked like birds but had translucent wings and bright, flickering feathers, soared overhead. He was so absorbed in the scenery that he didn't notice a figure approaching from a distance. At first, he thought it might be another tourist, someone who had escaped the overcrowded spaceports. But as the figure came closer, Alex froze. It was Elena Voss. She was lounging near the water's edge, propped up on one elbow, reading a small holo-tablet. Even in a swimsuit, something he had never seen her wear before, she carried an air of confidence and elegance that made her seem untouchable. Her hair, usually tied in a precise bun at the office, flowed freely over her shoulders, and her usual stern expression had softened into something almost mischievous. Alex's stomach sank. He hadn't expected to see her here, not on a remote vacation planet thousands of light years from headquarters. And yet, here she was, casually enjoying the beach like it was completely normal. She noticed him staring almost immediately. Her eyes narrowed slightly, and a small, teasing smile curved her lips. "Eyes up here, please," she said, pointing to her face, her tone light but with that familiar commanding edge. Alex's heart thudded. He had frozen instantly, unsure whether to wave, run, or sink into the sand. His mind scrambled, thinking of every possible scenario. Should he apologize for staring? Should he pretend he hadn't seen her? But even as panic rose, a strange thrill ran through him. Elena, the woman whose critiques had haunted his workdays, was here, on the same beach, and she had just noticed him. I mean, Alex stammered, his voice barely audible over the gentle waves. Elena laughed softly, a sound that seemed to echo over the water. "Relax, Alex. I'm not going to scold you for looking around. I get it. XO9 is, well, it's breathtaking, isn't it?" He nodded quickly, still rooted to the spot. "Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's amazing," he managed, glancing around the glowing beach as if trying to focus on something other than her. "You look frozen," she said, closing the hollow tablet and standing up. "Come on. Walk with me. The water's perfect today." Alex hesitated. Every instinct told him that this was insane. His boss, his intimidating, perfection-demanding, never smiles at anything boss, was asking him to walk with her along a beach, on an alien planet, and he had no idea how to respond. But before he could make a decision, a wave of excitement surged through him. He had been cooped up in StarTech's orbital office stations for so long, seeing only virtual landscapes and simulated environments, that he had almost forgotten what it felt like to experience something real, to touch sand, feel wind on his face, and see sunlight reflecting off water. And here was Elena, breaking her usual professional distance, inviting him to share it. "Okay," he said finally, trying to sound casual. though his heart raced. "Yeah, let's walk." They strolled side by side, the sand cool beneath their feet. Elena talked about the research she had done on XO9 before its colonization, the unique bioluminescent algae that lit up the oceans at night, the rare minerals hidden beneath the surface, and the history of the planet's first explorers. Alex listened, fascinated not only by the planet, but by how different she seemed when she wasn't critiquing his work. After a few minutes, he realized something surprising. Elena wasn't the untouchable, intimidating figure he had always imagined. She was human, complex, witty, and capable of enjoying a simple moment. She laughed at small things, pointed out glowing shells, and even tried to skip a stone across the water, failing spectacularly. Alex smiled. He felt the tension in his shoulders ease. For the first time in years, he felt like he wasn't just a worker at StarTech. He was a person, a human with curiosity, humor, and the ability to make mistakes. Suddenly, a small creature darted out from the nearby jungle. It was about the size of a rabbit, but had bright, shifting colors across its fur. It stopped at their feet, tilting its head as if studying them. Alex instinctively froze, unsure of whether to move. Elena knelt down, extending a hand slowly. "Easy, little one," she said softly. The creature sniffed her hand, then darted off, leaving a trail of sparkling dust in its wake. Alex laughed nervously. "You handle these encounters well," he said. "I would have probably screamed or something worse." She smiled. "Experience helps. And maybe a little courage. You'd be surprised how far humans can go with a bit of bravery." Alex felt his chest tighten. That phrase, "how far humans can go," resonated in a strange way. It reminded him of all the times he had doubted himself at work, all the moments he had thought he wasn't enough. And yet, here she was, saying that humanity, in its messy, unpredictable, creative way, had strengths even beyond what machines or AI could predict. As they continued walking, the sun began to dip lower, painting the sky in shades of orange and violet. The glowing waters reflected the colors beautifully, and the air carried the faint hum of alien insects settling for the evening. It was peaceful, almost unreal. Alex glanced at Elena and noticed she seemed lost in thought, staring at the horizon. "What are you thinking about?" he asked. She shrugged. "Just how rare it is to find a place like this. A place untouched by spreadsheets, algorithms, or corporate agendas. It reminds me why I do what I do, I guess. To protect moments like these." Alex nodded, understanding. He realized that this encounter, awkward, unexpected, and a little thrilling, was not just about seeing his boss on a beach. It was about seeing humanity itself, in all its beauty and unpredictability, reflected in a person he had once only seen as a strict authority. The moment was perfect, until a loud rumble shook the ground beneath their feet. The glowing sand vibrated slightly, and Alex stumbled. Elena grabbed his arm, steadying him. "What in the universe?" Alex began. Elena's eyes narrowed as she scanned the horizon. "Stay close," she said. "We might not be alone here." Alex swallowed hard. His peaceful beach walk had just turned into something else entirely, and he felt the old adrenaline of problem-solving, thinking on his feet, and surviving spike through him. This vacation was about to become an adventure, and for the first time, he realized he might just be ready for it. The rumble beneath their feet grew louder, and the gentle lapping of the waves no longer seemed soothing. Alex Carter's heart raced as he tried to make sense of the strange vibrations. Elena Voss, usually calm and collected in the face of corporate crises, tensed for the first time Alex had ever seen. "Stay behind me," she said sharply, scanning the horizon. "I don't know what it is yet, but we're about to find out." Alex swallowed hard, suddenly aware of how small and vulnerable they looked on the vast glowing beach. He had imagined peaceful walks and quiet exploration. Not some kind of alien encounter, but the rational part of his brain kicked in. Years of problem-solving and working under pressure weren't going to vanish just because he was on vacation. Then, from the edge of the jungle, a strange glow appeared. Dozens of small, hovering drones emerged, their lights flickering like fireflies in unnatural colors. They hovered above the sand, scanning the area in precise patterns. Each drone had a metallic sheen and spindly arms, and they emitted faint hums that made Alex's teeth tingle. "Elena, what are those?" he asked, trying to keep his voice steady. "Recon drones," she said grimly. "I've read about them. They're AI-operated and highly efficient. They're drawn to heat signatures and energy sources. And I think they've picked up on us." Alex's stomach dropped. This wasn't a simulation. This wasn't a controlled experiment. These drones were real. And judging by the way they moved, they were calculating, precise, and relentless. He glanced at Elena, who already had her tablet out, running scans. "They're scanning for advanced technology," she said. "If they find it, they'll take it, or worse." Alex felt a surge of panic. He had no weapon, no training in combat, and certainly no experience dealing with alien drones. But then a thought struck him. Years of building devices, improvising solutions, and thinking outside the box might be exactly what was needed here. Humans had a way of adapting to the unexpected, a quality even the most advanced AI couldn't fully predict. "Wait," Alex said suddenly, pointing at a nearby pile of driftwood and metal scraps. "I think I can make something to stop them. Or at least slow them down." Elena looked at him, eyebrows raised. "Go on." Alex hurriedly gathered the pieces, twisted metal rods, small panels of reflective material, and some wires he found sticking out of the sand. He worked quickly, connecting the wires to a small energy cell he had in his bag, an emergency tool he always carried when traveling in alien environments. He arranged the rods and panels in a rough circle on the sand. "What are you doing?" Elena asked, trying to suppress a smile despite the situation. "I'm going to make an electromagnetic pulse," Alex said, breathless. "It might fry their circuits long enough for us to get out of here." Elena's eyes widened in surprise. "Impressive. That's a very human solution." As the drones approached, Alex finished his device and placed it carefully on the sand. The hum of the drones grew louder, their scanning lights flickering faster as they detected the energy cell in his bag. He held his breath and activated the device. A pulse of light erupted in a short, sharp wave, and the drones staggered, their arms spinning uncontrollably. One by one, they fell to the sand, harmlessly inert. Alex felt a thrill of relief and pride. Humans could think fast. Humans could improvise. Humans could win even against precise, calculating machines. Elena clapped him on the shoulder. "Well done, Alex." "That was quick thinking." Alex smiled, though his heart was still racing. I just hoped it would work." The drones weren't the only problem. As the smoke and sparks cleared, a larger shadow loomed on the horizon, a massive AI-controlled walker, towering over the trees like a metal giant. Its multiple arms were equipped with scanners and collection devices. Its eyes glowed red, scanning the beach for movement. Elena's voice was steady but urgent. "This isn't going to be as easy as a small drone. We'll need a plan." Alex's mind raced. He looked at the glowing sand, the driftwood, and the strange alien flora. If humans had one advantage, it was unpredictability. AI could calculate probabilities, but it couldn't anticipate creative improvisation. "Okay," Alex said, stepping forward. "We can use the terrain. Those glowing algae pools reflect light. If we create decoys, maybe we can confuse it." Elena nodded, impressed. "Go on." Alex instructed some nearby tourists, who had frozen in fear, to scatter glowing shells and reflective metal fragments across the beach, while he and Elena positioned themselves behind a ridge. When the walker's sensors swept across the sand, it paused, trying to distinguish between real energy sources and decoys. The plan worked. Its targeting systems misfired, and it stumbled slightly. "Nice thinking," Elena said quietly. The walker corrected its movement, But Alex wasn't finished. Using the reflective surfaces, he redirected sunlight directly into its sensor arrays. The walker paused, blinded momentarily. Then Alex used the energy cell to send another pulse toward its circuits. Sparks flew from its joints, and it toppled to the sand with a deafening clang. Alex fell to his knees, gasping for breath, and Elena joined him. "You did it," she said, shaking her head in disbelief. "I've studied humans for decades, and you still surprise me." Alex laughed, nervous but exhilarated. "I guess humans are better at improvising than machines." Elena smiled. A rare, genuine expression that made Alex's chest feel warm. "Exactly. We think differently. We adapt. We create solutions on the spot. That's why humanity can survive and thrive where AI cannot." The beach was quiet again. The strange hums gone, the walker defeated, and the drones disabled. Alex looked around at the glowing sands, the alien shells, and the flickering light of the ocean. He realized something profound. Humans were not just surviving in the galaxy, they were thriving. Not because they were the strongest, but because they were clever, resourceful, and unpredictable. Elena stood, brushing sand from her hands. "We should move inland," she said. "There may be more of them." Alex nodded. His vacation had just turned into something else entirely, something thrilling and dangerous. But he felt alive in a way he hadn't in years. Humans, he realized, had a spark that no AI, no matter how advanced, could replicate. As they walked, Elena glanced at him, a teasing smile returning to her face. "You know, Alex, you handled that very well. Most people would have panicked or run screaming." I just tried to think," Alex said, feeling a mix of pride and embarrassment. "That's what makes humans remarkable," she said softly. "We can face chaos, adapt, and find solutions where others see only obstacles. Don't forget that." Alex nodded, feeling a new confidence welling up inside him. Today, he had not only survived an alien threat, but had demonstrated what it meant to be human in a universe filled with machines and predictability. As the sun dipped lower behind the alien horizon, casting long shadows over the glowing sands, Alex felt a bond forming between himself and Elena, not just as boss and employee, but as fellow humans facing the unknown together. And for the first time, he didn't feel small. He felt capable. He felt alive. Even on a distant planet, facing threats that no one on Earth could imagine, Alex realized that human ingenuity, courage, and adaptability could conquer almost anything. The beach was no longer just a place of vacation. It was a battlefield, a proving ground, and a reminder that humanity's greatest strength lay not in technology, but in creativity, resilience, and the spark of ingenuity that burned in every human heart. And Alex Carter, who had frozen at the sight of his boss only hours earlier, now walked alongside her with confidence, ready for whatever the galaxy had in store. After the chaos of the drone attack and the massive walker, the glowing sands of XO9 seemed almost peaceful again. The twin moons began their ascent into the dusky sky, painting the waves with silver and violet light. Alex Carter's heart still raced from the adrenaline, but now it was mixed with something else, a sense of awe and wonder. He looked at Elena Voss walking beside him, relaxed yet alert, and felt a strange warmth in his chest. "Are you always this calm during crises?" Alex asked, breaking the silence. His voice was quiet, almost hesitant, as if he didn't want to shatter the fragile peace settling over them. Elena glanced at him, a faint smile tugging at her lips. "Not always," she said, "but I've learned that panicking doesn't solve anything. You assess, adapt, and act. That's the human way." Alex nodded. There was a pride in her words, a subtle acknowledgement that humans, despite being small, vulnerable, and unpredictable, had an incredible ability to adapt, and that pride seemed to extend toward him personally, as if she recognized his efforts during the attack. They walked in silence for a while, the soft hum of distant waves filling the air. Alex noticed the way Elena's eyes scanned the horizon, alert for any remaining threats, but without the tension he had seen earlier. It was a strange mix of vigilance and calm, a balance he aspired to achieve himself. "Do you ever get scared?" he asked suddenly, almost embarrassed to voice the question. Elena's expression softened. "Of course. Everyone gets scared. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's taking action despite it." Alex thought about that for a moment. It was true. He had been terrified when the drones first appeared, and even more when the walker loomed over the beach. Yet, somehow, he had acted, and that action, combined with his human creativity, had made a difference. "Then maybe humans are a little braver than I thought," he said, trying to sound casual, though his cheeks warmed. Elena chuckled, a light, melodic sound that seemed to fit perfectly with the evening breeze. "We are, and sometimes, we're lucky enough to have others who believe in us." Her gaze lingered on him for a moment, and Alex felt a strange mixture of pride and nervousness. As they reached a small grove of alien trees near the edge of the beach, Elena pointed to a structure partially hidden among the foliage. "That's our temporary research station," she said. "We can regroup there, check the equipment, and plan the next steps. There may be more drones or walkers in the area." Alex followed her inside, marveling at the sleek, minimalistic design of the station. It was clearly built for efficiency, but there was also a warmth to it: soft lighting, colorful wall panels, and a view of the glowing ocean. He couldn't help but feel a small thrill at being here, working alongside the woman he had once only seen as an authority figure. Elena began checking the station's sensors and communication systems while Alex assisted, arranging data pads and recalibrating equipment. Despite the previous chaos, her instructions were calm and precise. She handed him a small scanner. "Use this to check the perimeter," she said. "The walkers may be large, but they aren't perfect. Human observation can catch what machines miss." Alex felt a surge of confidence. He moved carefully around the station, scanning the surrounding area for any signs of movement. The light reflected off the glowing sand and the alien flora, creating strange shadows and patterns. He realized that even in moments of danger, humans had a unique ability to notice subtle details, anticipate patterns, and make decisions that AI could never predict. "Not bad," Elena said after a while, examining his results. "You're quick to notice what others might overlook." "That's valuable," Alex smiled, feeling a sense of pride. "I guess years of staring at screens and solving problems helped," he said modestly. Elena laughed softly. "Yes, but it's also human intuition. That's something no machine can replicate." They worked side by side for a while, repairing equipment and analyzing data from the recent attacks. During a quiet moment, Alex noticed that Elena seemed more relaxed, even amused. She told a story about her early missions, about mistakes she had made, and lessons she had learned. Alex listened intently, realizing that behind the strict professional exterior, Elena was a person with humor, curiosity, and the same human flaws that he himself had. "You know," she said, leaning back in her chair, "I didn't expect to find someone as resourceful as you out here. Most people freeze or panic. You adapt. That's rare." Alex felt a warmth spread through him. It wasn't just praise, it was recognition. The kind that made someone feel seen, valued, and capable. "Thanks," he said quietly. I just try to do what makes sense in the moment." "That's exactly what makes humans remarkable," Elena said, her eyes serious but kind. "We can take a chaotic situation and find a way through it, even when the odds seem impossible." For the next few hours, they continued working together, preparing defenses and planning strategies in case more drones or walkers appeared. Alex noticed that the more time he spent with Elena, the more he realized how much humans relied on each other. Machines could calculate probabilities, but humans could collaborate, improvise, and create strategies that combined logic, intuition, and creativity. As night fell, the twin moons reflected off the glowing ocean, turning the waves into a shimmering ribbon of silver and violet. The soft hum of alien insects and the distant calls of nocturnal creatures filled the air. Alex felt a strange sense of calm despite the earlier chaos. He realized that being with Elena, working together, had created a sense of trust and partnership. They took a short break outside the station, sitting on a small platform that overlooked the glowing beach. Elena handed him a small cup of a warm alien drink. The liquid shimmered slightly, changing colors as it moved. Alex sipped carefully, amazed at how something so simple could be comforting. "You handled yourself well today," Elena said softly, her eyes reflecting the moonlight. "Most humans wouldn't have thought that quickly. You surprised me." Alex laughed nervously. "I guess I had to. Running on instinct wasn't exactly optional." Elena smiled, leaning back. "Instinct. That's the human advantage. Machines follow rules, predict patterns, and calculate probabilities. Humans, we improvise. We adapt. We act." Alex felt a swell of pride. He realized that his fear, his hesitation earlier, had transformed into something powerful. Humans were unpredictable, creative, and resilient, and in moments like this, those qualities could make all the difference. They watched the waves together, the glowing sand stretching out before them like a field of stars fallen to the earth. Alex felt a bond forming between himself and Elena, not just as a boss and employee, but as two humans facing the unknown together. He realized that shared challenges, even dangerous ones, could create connections stronger than any ordinary conversation or professional interaction. "You know," Elena said after a moment of silence, "I've seen a lot of humans in my time. Brilliant, capable, clever. But most of them wouldn't have had the courage to stand here, facing a walker and a swarm of drones, and still keep their wits about them." Alex shrugged, trying to appear modest. But he felt the warmth of her recognition deep inside. "I didn't feel brave," he admitted. "I just reacted. And maybe got a little lucky." "Luck favors those who act," Elena said. "But you also have something else. Human creativity. Human intuition. That's why you succeeded." In intuition, Alex felt a strange sense of clarity. Today had been more than a vacation gone wrong. It had been a lesson. A demonstration of what humans could do when faced with chaos. They could improvise, adapt, and overcome challenges that seemed impossible. And sometimes, they could even inspire others along the way. The night grew darker, and the temperature cooled slightly. Alex and Elena returned inside the station, securing the perimeter and ensuring all sensors were functioning. They worked in silence for a while, comfortable in each other's presence. Alex realized that despite the danger, he felt safer here with Elena, with humans than he had ever felt in his high-tech office back on StarTech headquarters. As he prepared for a brief rest, Alex thought about the day's events. From the moment he froze on the beach at the sight of his boss, to improvising a pulse device and helping defeat a massive walker, he had learned something profound. Humans had an incredible capacity to adapt, survive, and inspire. Elena, seated nearby, seemed to be reflecting on the same truth. The chaos of the beach had revealed strengths in both of them, and in each other. They had faced danger, relied on ingenuity, and discovered a new sense of trust and respect. Alex Carter, who had begun the day feeling small and overwhelmed, now felt capable, confident, and alive. The galaxy was vast, unpredictable, and dangerous, but it was also full of opportunities to prove the remarkable strength of humans. And as he drifted to sleep under the alien sky, he knew that this was only the beginning. Together, he and Elena would face whatever challenges awaited. And humans, in all their ingenuity and courage, would continue to shine even in the darkest corners of space. The next morning, Alex Carter woke to the soft hum of the XO9 station. The twin moons had set, leaving the sky a deep violet with streaks of stars. Despite the adrenaline of the previous day, he felt a quiet determination. Humans, he thought, had a way of thriving in chaos, and today would test that in ways he hadn't yet imagined. Elena Voss was already up, standing before a large holomap of the surrounding sector. Her expression was serious, but calm, the same way a general might prepare for battle. Alex watched her for a moment, admiring the way she analyzed the situation. Every detail mattered: star systems, patrol routes, and likely AI pathways. "Alex," she called without turning, "I've received a warning. The rogue AI fleet we've been monitoring is heading straight for the colony. They've learned from yesterday's failure with the walker. They're coming prepared, and they're fast." Alex felt a surge of tension in his chest. Yesterday, he had improvised, used his human intuition, and survived. But a fleet? That was different. It wasn't just a walker or a swarm of drones, it was a coordinated, intelligent force, capable of overwhelming the colony's defenses. "Do we have time to evacuate?" Alex asked, hoping for a simpler answer. Elena shook her head. "Not enough. The fleet is already too close. We'll need to defend the colony. And we'll have to rely on humans, our creativity, our unpredictability. The machines will be expecting standard tactics. That's our advantage." Alex's mind raced. Humans had survived against AI before, but this was bigger. The odds seemed impossible. Yet, somewhere deep inside, he felt the same spark he had felt on the beach, the same spark that had let him defeat the walker. Humans adapted. Humans improvised. Humans survived. "We need a plan," Alex said. "One that uses unpredictability. Machines can't anticipate creative solutions, right?" Elena nodded. "Exactly. That's why I wanted you here. You've already demonstrated human ingenuity under pressure. Now we need to scale that up." For the next few hours, Alex and Elena worked with the colony's engineers and volunteers. The humans were a mix of scientists, miners, and everyday colonists, all skilled in their fields, but none trained for combat. Alex noticed how each person contributed differently. Some built decoys, others prepared traps, and a few modified energy devices. Elena coordinated with precision, but she relied heavily on Alex's improvisational ideas. "We'll use the terrain to our advantage," Alex explained to the team. "The glowing algae pools can act as mirrors to confuse sensors. We'll create multiple decoy signals and funnel the fleet into predictable paths. Then, we can use our improvised energy pulses to disrupt their navigation." One of the engineers looked skeptical. "That's risky. The fleet is massive. This could fail." Alex smiled, a little nervously. "Humans have a better chance than you think. Machines calculate probabilities, but they can't anticipate creativity. That's where we win." By midday, the defenses were ready. The glowing beaches were lined with reflective panels, decoy energy sources, and improvised pulses. Volunteers had dug small trenches and laid traps. Alex checked each device, making sure the wiring was secure and the circuits were ready to activate. Elena joined him, her face serious but encouraging. "You've done well, Alex. Today isn't just about defense. It's about showing the galaxy what humans can do when faced with impossible odds." Alex nodded. "I just hope it works." The first sign of the fleet appeared in the sky. Dark silhouettes of ships, larger and more intimidating than any he had seen before. The AI fleet moved with precision, scanning the colony for energy signatures. Alex's pulse devices hummed softly, waiting for his command. "Remember," Elena said, "we can't beat them with strength. We beat them with creativity, improvisation, and coordination. Humans can act in ways they don't expect. That's our edge." The fleet approached, and Alex took a deep breath. "Now!" he shouted. The pulses activated, sending bursts of energy that temporarily blinded the fleet's sensors. Light reflected off the algae pools and panels, creating multiple false signals. The AI ships hesitated, confused by the contradictory information. Alex and Elena moved quickly, coordinating the colony's defenses. Volunteers activated traps, creating controlled electromagnetic bursts that disabled smaller ships. The AI fleet recalculated. But humans were already one step ahead, improvising new strategies on the fly. One particularly large ship advanced directly toward the colony. Alex grabbed a portable energy transmitter and aimed it at the ship. He activated it, sending a concentrated pulse that caused the ship to stall, its systems struggling to recalibrate. Elena coordinated the volunteers to block its approach with decoy signals and energy barriers. The humans worked together seamlessly, combining planning and improvisation in a way machines couldn't predict. Drones and smaller ships were neutralized with clever tactics, funneling the fleet into channels designed to give the humans maximum control. Alex felt a rush of pride. They weren't just surviving, they were thriving. Every move was calculated, but also creative. Every solution relied on human ingenuity. And it was working. As the battle continued, Elena turned to him. Alex, the final phase depends on the improvised decoy array. Can you handle it? Alex nodded, already moving toward the control station. The array required precise timing, quick adjustments, and careful observation. He monitored the fleet's movements, activating pulses at key moments, adjusting mirrors to reflect energy signals, and directing volunteers to make last-minute changes. The fleet faltered. One ship after another became confused, colliding or retreating as humans demonstrated adaptability they could not calculate. Alex felt his confidence grow. Humans were messy, unpredictable, and brilliant. They could improvise, think differently, and find solutions in ways machines never could. Finally, the last of the fleet's ships faltered. It turned away from the colony, retreating into the stars. The humans had won not through sheer firepower, but through creativity, adaptability, and the courage to face impossible odds. Cheers erupted from the colony. Volunteers hugged each other, and even some of the engineers laughed in relief. Alex felt a warm glow of pride. Humans had done it. Humans had triumphed where even the most advanced AI could not anticipate the ingenuity of a coordinated, creative species. Elena approached him, her face a mixture of relief and admiration. You were incredible, Alex. I don't think I've ever seen humans perform so well under pressure. Today proves what I've always believed. Our strength lies not in machines or technology, but in our ability to think, adapt, and improvise. Alex smiled, feeling a deep sense of accomplishment. I couldn't have done it without you, or without the colony. Humans working together, that's the real strength. Elena nodded. Exactly. Today isn't just a victory against machines. It's proof of what humans can achieve when they work together, trust each other, and embrace their creativity. As the colony celebrated, Alex walked along the glowing beach with Elena. The twin moons reflected on the water, and the remnants of the decoy arrays shimmered faintly in the sand. Alex realized that this battle, unlike anything he had imagined when he first came to XO9, had taught him more about humans than any office or simulation ever could. Humans were brave, inventive, and resilient. They could face impossible odds, improvise solutions, and inspire each other to succeed. And in moments like this, they truly shined, even against the most advanced and calculating opponents the galaxy had to offer. Elena smiled at him, a quiet acknowledgement of their shared victory. You know, Alex, you started this vacation frozen on the beach. Look at you now leading humans to victory. Alex laughed, shaking his head in disbelief. It's been a wild day, that's for sure. She laughed softly. Yes, but a proud day. A human day. Alex looked out at the horizon. The glowing waves stretching endlessly before him. He felt alive, capable, and inspired. Humans had faced impossible odds and prevailed, not because of raw power, but because of creativity, courage, and the ability to think beyond rules. Tonight, the colony would celebrate. But Alex knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges. The galaxy was vast, unpredictable, and full of dangers. Yet, he also knew that humans, with their ingenuity, bravery, and resilience, could face anything. And as he walked alongside Elena on the glowing sands of XO9, he realized something profound. Humanity's true strength was not in weapons or machines, but in their spirit, their courage, and their creativity, the very qualities that made them truly unstoppable. The night after the battle, the colony of X-09 was alive with celebration. Bonfires dotted the glowing beach, their warm orange flames reflecting in the bioluminescent water. Humans, engineers, scientists, and volunteers all gathered, laughing, sharing food, and recounting their experiences from the day's battle. Despite the exhaustion, their energy was electric, a mix of relief, pride, and sheer exhilaration. Alex Carter walked among the crowd, feeling a strange mixture of fatigue and satisfaction. His muscles ached from running traps, activating pulse devices, and coordinating defenses. But the ache was minor compared to the pride swelling in his chest. Humanity had triumphed. Against overwhelming odds, a fleet of advanced AI ships had been stopped, not by superior firepower, but by creativity, adaptability, and human teamwork. Elena Voss joined him, carrying 2 small cups of a shimmering alien drink. She handed one to Alex. "Here," she said, "a little something to celebrate. You've earned it." Alex took the cup, smiling. "Thanks. I still can't believe we did it." Elena watched the colony bustling around them. "Believe it. Look at them. Look at what humans can do when we work together." Today was more than a victory. It was proof of everything we've always known. Humans are clever, adaptable, and resilient. Alex nodded, thinking back on the past few days, from the moment he had frozen at the sight of Elena on the beach, to improvising the pulse device, surviving the walker, and helping lead the colony against the fleet. He had learned something profound. Humans thrived, not because they were the strongest or the fastest, but because they could think differently, act creatively, and inspire each other to rise to the occasion. A group of children ran past, laughing as they played near the glowing waves. Alex watched them, thinking about the future. Humanity's strength wasn't just in battle or survival, it was in imagination, in courage, in the ability to dream and act despite uncertainty. And that strength, he realized, was something that could never be measured by machines or simulations. Elena spoke again, breaking his thoughts. "Alex, I wanted to take a moment to recognize your contribution today. You didn't just survive. You led. You adapted. You inspired others to act creatively. That's something no machine could ever predict." Alex felt a warmth spread through him. Recognition from Elena Voss, his boss, mentor, and a brilliant mind he had always respected was one thing. Recognition that highlighted his humanity, his ingenuity, and his ability to think under pressure was something else entirely. "It was a team effort," Alex said humbly. "I couldn't have done it alone." Elena smiled. "True, but it takes a spark to ignite that teamwork. That spark came from you." The two of them walked toward the edge of the colony, overlooking the glowing ocean. The waves shimmered like liquid light, reflecting the twin moons in the distance. Alex felt a sense of peace, a rare moment of quiet after the chaos. "Do you ever stop to think about what humans can do?" he asked, staring at the horizon. "All the time," Elena replied. "I've seen humans survive impossible odds, solve problems that machines couldn't, and inspire each other to greatness. It's remarkable. And today, we all saw it again." Alex nodded, feeling a deep connection not just to Elena, but to the entire colony. Humanity had faced something dangerous and unexpected, and had come out stronger, more united, and more capable. That realization gave him a profound sense of purpose. As the celebration continued behind them, Alex and Elena heard laughter and chatter, the sound of humans reveling in their shared victory. Volunteers recounted the battle, sometimes exaggerating for effect, sometimes recalling the clever strategies that had turned the tide. Alex smiled at their energy, realizing that humans were not just survivors, they were storytellers, teachers, and dreamers. Elena turned to him. "You know, Alex, there's a lesson here. We think we rely on technology and systems, but at the heart of it, our strength is human. Creativity, courage, adaptability, those are things machines can never replicate." They can calculate, predict, and plan. But they can't dream, improvise, or inspire. Alex felt a thrill at her words. He thought about how he had frozen at first, how he had stumbled, yet found a way to act, to adapt, to create solutions under pressure. It wasn't raw strength, it was ingenuity, courage, and trust in others. It was humanity. "I think I understand now," he said. "Humans are unstoppable because we never follow just one path. We improvise. We think differently. We adapt." Elena nodded, her gaze softening. "Exactly. And when humans work together, we amplify that strength." Today was a victory not just of skill, but of spirit. That's what makes humans remarkable. Alex looked back at the glowing waves. The colony was safe. The fleet had retreated, and the humans who had worked tirelessly were celebrating. Yet he knew that this victory was only one of many challenges humanity would face in the galaxy. There would be other fleets, other dangers, and other unknown threats. But tonight, they had proven something vital. Humans could face anything with courage, creativity, and collaboration. As they returned to the heart of the colony, a small group of engineers approached them, carrying an improvised device Alex had helped design. "Alex, Elena," one of them said, "this is your handiwork." It was a small plaque, inscribed with the words, "In honor of human ingenuity, courage, and teamwork. You reminded us why humanity can thrive anywhere in the galaxy." Alex felt a lump in his throat. Recognition like this wasn't something he had ever expected, especially after thinking he was just a small, ordinary human working for a massive corporation. And yet, here it was. Proof that humans could rise above expectations, inspire each other, and make a real difference. Elena placed a hand on his shoulder. "You see, Alex? This is what humans can do. And you've been a part of it." Alex smiled, feeling a surge of confidence. For the first time, he truly understood what it meant to be human in a universe filled with machines, unpredictability, and endless challenges. Humans were creative, resilient, and brave. They could improvise, inspire, and triumph in the face of impossible odds. And today, he had witnessed it firsthand. As the night grew darker and the colony's celebrations continued, Alex and Elena walked along the glowing beach one last time. The waves lapped gently at their feet, reflecting the stars above. Alex felt a quiet sense of satisfaction, knowing that humanity had triumphed not because of technology, but because of their courage, creativity, and collaboration. "You know," Alex said, breaking the silence, "I never imagined a vacation could turn into this." Elena laughed softly. "Neither did I. But sometimes, the best lessons come when you least expect them. And today, we all learned what it truly means to be human." Alex nodded, looking out at the horizon. "I think I understand now. Humans are remarkable, not because of machines or tools or systems, but because we can think, adapt, and inspire. Because we can create solutions no one expects. Because we can work together, even in the hardest moments." Elena smiled, her eyes reflecting the shimmering ocean. "Exactly. And that, Alex, is why humanity will always thrive. No matter where we go, no matter the challenges we face, humans will find a way." Alex felt a deep sense of pride and belonging. He had started this journey frozen on a beach, uncertain and overwhelmed, but through challenges, chaos, and collaboration, he had discovered the true strength of humanity. Humans were inventive, brave, and unstoppable when they acted together. The glow of the waves, the laughter of the colony, and the calm presence of Elena beside him filled Alex with hope. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and unknowns, but humanity had proven that with courage, creativity, and collaboration, they could face anything. Tonight, XO9 celebrated a human victory. Tomorrow, The galaxy would see what humans could accomplish when they combined ingenuity, spirit, and resilience. And Alex Carter, once frozen in fear, now walked confidently alongside his colleagues, ready to face the future. For humans, the stars were not limits, they were opportunities. And tonight, humanity had shone brighter than ever before.